Hey guys, Constance here, Cosmopolitan So I am having a cooking day here on this rainy Monday morning. I woke up at about 3 o'clock in the morning to thunderstorms. Well, first I woke up because I was suddenly insanely hot and I had to fling off all my covers, which woke up Hickory. And Hickory knew I was awake. Hickory is my big fat tabby cat. And I couldn't get back to sleep. And so he moseyed on up to lay next to me on my pillow like he always does. And he started purring. And you have to understand, when Hickory purrs, it's this loud wheeze purr thing that he does. He's done it since he was a kitten. But it's loud and it's noisy. And that, of course, wakes up the dogs, and I actually woke up with a headache, and there was no way I was going to fall back asleep because I had a headache because of the storm system, and so I just said forget it, and about 3:30, 3:40, somewhere in there, I got up, and I just came in here, turned on the coffee maker, and started my coffee, and I thought, well, I guess I'm going to get an early start today. So I am in here doing my cooking. It is a cooking day, like I mentioned. And for me, a cooking day is when I am going to cook several different recipes to photograph and film, and sometimes I'll tweak the recipes to get them just right before they go up on one of my blogs. And I do this, I will do multiple recipes in one day because I can't dedicate time every single day to do recipes and photograph and write and all of that. Otherwise, I'm not going to get anything else done around here. Last night in my live chat on YouTube, I actually had someone ask me, or make a comment, something along the lines of, they don't know how I get it all done. And the fact of the matter is, sometimes I don't. I'm human. And life gets in the way, and sometimes I don't get everything done that I want to get done. And I have times where I feel overwhelmed, like I've got too many irons in the fire, and what am I doing? But I have a tendency to be, I wouldn't call myself a workaholic, but I don't like downtime. I don't like to not be doing something. And I mean, even the moments that I'm sitting down in my recliner and watching TV, I'm usually multitasking. I'm scheduling things for social media, or I'm editing photos or something like that. I don't like to not be doing something productive, which is why being intentional about keeping a Sabbath is so important and so hard. I have to make myself do it. But I do sometimes get like I've got too much on my plate, and I will have moments, just moments, where I think about just stopping. Stop blogging, stop doing all this stuff. And it's not a serious thought. I can't imagine myself ever actually stopping. But I will have moments of questioning myself and why I'm doing all this. But it never fails that as soon as I have one of those moments, one of those exasperated, overwhelmed feeling sorts of moments, I will get a letter, or I'll have a note or an email or an Instagram message from somebody showing or telling me how much what I do means to them. And that to me is a reminder of why I even do all of this. And so even when I have those moments of feeling overwhelmed and like I'm doing too much and I ought to just quit, that is what gets me through those. And over the weekend, I had someone send me a photo of their own little garden, and it was small and it was simple, but it was their first one, and they were inspired to do it because of watching this channel. And I have to tell you, that was the most beautiful garden I've ever seen in my life. And it made me cry. And y'all make me cry. And you gotta just stop making me cry. I'm not a crier. I don't cry. Like, sappy movies, they don't affect me, because I know people are trying to make people cry, and I'm not gonna play into that. I don't cry. But y'all make me cry. Alright, so the elderberry syrup is now cooling down. I have pickled onions going over here in the jar, also cooling down. Once those get to room temperature, I'll be able to stick them in the fridge to chill. Up next, I'm going to make a grain-free nut and coconut based breakfast cereal. Kind of basically a granola, but you could serve it with milk like a cereal. And this is why I'm doing this today. Because it's pouring outside again. Hey guys, so it's now been actually a couple of days since the previous part of this video that you saw. Yesterday I decided to go and do a little bit of antiquing. Now the other day I did a video where I shared about some antiques that I had picked up at the antique store down in Coleman. I showed a lamp that I had purchased for my nightstand that I liked the look of it, even though it wasn't a real antique. But I had been looking for something specific, and there were also some ironstone pieces that I saw while I was there, and I got to thinking, I'm like, you know, this one particular piece, I am really, really wanting it in my heart. I really wanted it to put on my Hoosier cabinet, and so I decided yesterday, you know what, I'm just gonna run down there and see if it's still there. Well, I got there and it was gone. I knew I should have gotten it the day I was there. But I did pick up a couple of things while I was there because I have something that I've been wanting to do. You see, I am a food blogger and I do a lot of food photography, and because I do the food photography, I have dishes that I use for photography props. And I've got a dog chewing on a bone in the living room. So I have all of these dishes that I use for photography, but then I also have my everyday eat-on dishes. And I got to thinking about it. I'm like, you know, why do I have two sets of dishes taking up space? I don't need all of these random dishes. I am just going to get rid of all of my plain Jane dishes and make all of my dishes photo worthy. Make them all photo props. And so while I was walking around in that antique shop there in Coleman, I did pick up a couple of pieces. There weren't very many dishes there, but I did pick up a couple of dishes. But then as I was heading home, I decided to, instead of coming here, head to the big antique store in Hartselle. There's several antique stores in Hartselle, but there's one in particular that is a really big antique store. And when you're looking at it from the front, you don't think, or you might not realize how big this place is until you start walking through it. And it just keeps going and going and going. And it was actually kind of funny because as I was leaving there yesterday, there was this young girl who was there walking around. She's like, this place is humongous. It just keeps getting bigger. I'm like, I know, it's huge. It really is a humongous antique store. It's where I got the Hoosier cabinet that I have here in my kitchen. And so as I was walking through, they had tons of dishes. And so I've gotten just about every dish that I need for my collection, with the exception of a few more bowls. I need to find a few more bowls. So I'm going to show you what I got. Now, all of these are china. Some of them are really nice china. Now, all of these dishes are like onesie twosies just because, like I said, I am using them as photo props, and I kind of like the idea of them all being different. So here are the plates I got. So this one and this one I have two of. These, there was actually everything there. Plates, teacups, saucers, all sorts of stuff. They just didn't have any bowls, so I didn't get any bowls of this. But there's all sorts of designs. So those were the dinner plates that I got, but then of course I also need smaller plates for desserts and all of that. And so here are the small plates I got. Right here, these are the only two bowls that I was able to find while I was out there. And they're not even, well, this one's kind of a bowl, kind of a rimmed bowl, but I'm still going to need to find soup bowls. So that'll be my next challenge. Now, a couple of the small white plates that I have, like I think this one, let me see. Yes, this one is ironstone, and this one is ironstone. And then I've got some wedge wood, which was kind of neat. So there we go. All of my pretty prop dishes. I liked this one too. These were from France. I got both of these. Very pretty. So those are the dishes that I went and picked up while I was out antiquing. But I have to say, I brought all these dishes home and I took all the labels off them, and I was sitting here washing them all up so that I could put them away last night. And as I was looking at these dishes, I got to thinking about, as I was walking through the antique store, how many full sets of china I was seeing all over the place. I mean, I'm sure that they've had all these sets of china, or there's been sets of china available like this, but I had never really been looking for it, so I didn't really notice it. But there was beautiful, complete sets with the serving pieces and everything all over this antique store. And most of them were for very little money. I mean, there was ones for $40, whole sets. And as I'm washing these dishes and I'm thinking about this, it actually made me a little bit sad because, yes, Ava, it just made me a little bit sad because how many of these sets of china belonged to somebody's grandma who probably saved every penny for years to be able to afford to have a set of china like this, and now they're just in an antique shop for next to nothing, and I could buy a wedgwood plate for $1. I mean, it was a little bit sad, but I will definitely appreciate every one of them, and I will love them and put them to good use here in my farmhouse at the very least. But I did have one other thing that I wanted to share. As you recall, I went to the antique store last week specifically looking for a certain kind of lamp. Well, guess what? I found one. And not only is it a milk glass lamp for my nightstand like I was wanting to get, but it's even the exact design I was hoping to find. What I like about this one is, first of all, it's the hobnail, which I really like. It kind of matches the antique light that I found that I'm going to hang here over my kitchen sink. But I like that it has this little dish on the base, so you can set jewelry or something like that down in there. Now, I haven't used it yet just because the wiring looks a little questionable. This plug is ancient and I don't really want to trust something like that. So I'm going to rewire it before I actually put it in my bedroom on the nightstand and use it. But I was super excited to find this, and I think I paid like $7 for it. So that is a steal. I will just pick up the cheap little rewiring kit and restore it, and then that'll be it. So that is it for today. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video with Miss Ava, and I'm going to go run some errands because there's actually something at the antique store that I have had on my mind, and I need to go get it before it's gone. So I'll have another antique that I'll be sharing with you before too long. So thanks for hanging out with me here at the homestead today. My name is Constance. This is Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I'll talk to y'all next time.